Hello, and welcome to another week of, I guess, testing every video switcher is the name of this show now. I've got a whole bunch of stuff up on the rack back up there. I set up all the switchers that I have connected to the same couple video sources so we can try it out. I can share the multi-view of everything with you as well. So can go ahead and like show you, the output from each of the switchers. They're all routed into here, so this will be fun. Bring your questions, and let's see what's going on in the chat. Oh yeah, today, apparently yesterday, I got the new feature that YouTube has been rolling out slowly, that gives people like a leaderboard of chat participants. It's really weird. I don't really understand it. We'll see how it goes. If you're wondering what the number one, number two thing is, that's what's going on. Lily's had it on her stream for a couple weeks. She got it way before I did. But now it says it like ranks people based on stuff you do. It's not like super well defined. Sending messages is one thing you can do that gives you some points, and then you'll cap out. And then there's other things you can do to get points, like send super chats. Not totally sure exactly what else you can do to get points. This is I have this top fans list. Actually, I think you can see this too, but it shows XP looks like whoever got to 75 first is number one, and it looks, all I can figure out right now is if for the first 3 chat messages you send, you get 25 XP each message, and then it stops you at 75 until something. We'll find out. Yeah, well, I don't know. Gwen says, I personally just like the gamification of everything. I agree. It's weird. I don't really understand the point of it. We'll see how it goes. Oh, yeah. And also, if you, Nils was saying that they did not get the email from the list today, which is weird. If you normally, you should be getting a if you're subscribed to my newsletter, which I'll drop a link in the chat, it should, and normally does, automatically every week 30 minutes ahead of going live send out an email. And theoretically it's more reliable than YouTube notifications, because even if you subscribe and click the bell like everybody says to do, then it will sometimes still not actually give you a notification because it's YouTube. I don't know. So do subscribe and click the bell because it'll help, but that's what the email list is for. Anyway, if you are subscribed to the mailing list, you should have gotten an email today. If you did not, please let me know, because then I'll look into it. The guy says, by the way, the leaderboard will dictate your reach. I have a YouTube channel as well. They're using the new system to weed out bots and prompt human interaction. Interesting. Okay. Cool. So if you have a question, drop it in the chat starting with the letter Q. It makes it easier to find on my screen here. Otherwise, we're going to dive in and start looking at the chat. The guy says, I've been trying to flip my image in the A10 Mini Extreme. Is that possible? No, it is not possible. Most small, low-end video switchers don't have that kind of image processing in them. It would be rare for a switcher to have that feature. The A10 Mini definitely does not. I have seen a piece of UI in the, where is it? I think it's in the upstream key. That suggests that some ATEMs have the feature. Now I can't even find it. Maybe it's gone now. Wouldn't be in downstream. Well, anyway, there was somewhere a little checkbox that was like, flip the image. Oh, there it is. It is there. It's very hard to see. Rotation. So some ATEMs have the ability to rotate in the upstream key. But I have never had an ATEM with that feature. So including this constellation for me. But yeah, image flip is sadly not possible. Cool. More interested in the regular OSEE Duet, not the 8, but does it interpret PSF correctly and does it have scalars and frame rate converters on the inputs? I don't know if I have ever tested the PSF input, but I've never had a problem with frame rate converters on the inputs. So, the what's the scalar situation on it? Let's see if their specs at least say, because the A10 Mini only supports 720 and 1080 scalar inputs, not like arbitrary stuff. Let me see if the Duet at least mentions it on their page. Yeah, okay, so this is what you're looking for, is the input video format. So they will support also 720 and 1080 in a variety of frame rates. So that should be no problem. But only 720 and 1080, not arbitrary other sizes. D. Carmitch says, have you had any experience with the A10 Mini Extreme ISO G2? Has the G2 resolved the USB color space issues? I have only seen the G2 on the show floor at NAB, so I haven't had a chance to actually like plug it into anything. I assume it is the same as the other ATEMs as far as the USB color space. For whatever reason, they don't consider it a problem. I don't really agree, but also in many cases it's not an issue because you can just, as long as you're not trying to broadcast very, very dark things. I would assume it is the same, but I have not actually confirmed that. Is the Chunky Boy Yellowbox the biggest space eater on the test bench? It is. This is the, I need a better shortcut for that. This is the bench, and yeah, the Yolo Box Extreme is in the top right corner. Although the loudest one, interestingly, is the Director One on the left. For some reason, the fan started rattling this morning, so not in love with that idea. But oh, and I don't have the Sprolink turned on yet because I need a extension cord to get the, because it's the farthest one away from the power strip, which is sitting up there. So I need a little extension cord, which should be arriving today. Cool. Gwen says, I once accidentally sent 4K to A10 Mini Extreme HDMI, and it curiously worked for a while before becoming super stuttery. That's super weird. I've never had 4K work at all into an A10 Mini Extreme. I wonder what is going on. FDFO Media says, what PTZ camera would you recommend with an optical zoom that costs between $600 to $800, using for sports and to set preset locations to switch like you set up on last night's stream? $600 to $800. Let's see. I have so the one that I have set up right now for this shot is the AV cans. I actually just bought a second one because I wanted to be able to set up this shot up here, but also keep the one on the that's sitting over there for the desk. So bought a second one, put it up on a pole. It's actually hanging upside down, and this camera does have image flip. So I have presets for these different to get close-up shots of each of these devices, and this is good. The picture quality on this is fine. I mean, this is the camera. It's obviously not as good as my main camera. This, or like all these BGH1 cameras. It is, however, $350. So it's half of the budget that you are looking for. I have not tested any PTZ cameras that are like in the $600 to $800 range. But I would assume that the picture quality is going to be like, unless you get up to the several $1,000 PTZ cameras, that the picture quality is going to be similar to this. So for it really has trouble with the exposure with the TV back there. So yeah, I would assume the picture quality is going to be like around this range, not significantly better. But if anybody has recommendations for like a solid $600-800 camera, please drop it in the chat. IDJMike testing super chat for the points. This is why YouTube did it, to encourage people to send super chats. And now nobody is going to be able to steal the #1 spot for a while. IDJMike with 225 XP. This is so silly. We'll see what happens. Okay. Razer Baby says, has anybody tested the OSEE video follows audio feature for podcast auto switching? I just installed the desktop app for that, so I haven't actually done a proper test, but I do see the feature in here now. So here is the video follows audio. So you set audio A source. Something is not quite working with this either. I'm not exactly sure what, because it's like not showing, some of the drop downs don't show things. So I think I might need to update the firmware on the GoStream. I think there's a mismatch. Anyway, so you set your 2 audio sources, and then you choose what happens when the A audio source is loud, when B, when there's both, and then you can choose fast, normal, slow, and A and B priority. So I will try to put this to the test with the podcast that the ISO clips that I used for the other tests of the RØDECaster video. I saved all the like the ISO feeds for a couple podcast episodes that I can feed back in to the switchers. And now that I have this set up there, I should be able to really easily route that in. Really easily, he says. Well, we'll see how easily. I need to find those clips. Oh, I need to get the little box back that does the split out for the 4K to 4 video feeds. So we'll have to get some more gear together for that. Excellent PTC cameras for sports are Telecam Vision plus SE20X zoom and NDI. You need to choose between HDMI or SDI only models. They're $7.99. Thanks for the recommendation, Alonzo. David says, YouTube is rolling out a new feature that will make it easier for any channel to stream content from other channels, provided the content has already been published and approved. Blue Sky assurances from original creators disclosing the relationships. There's no copyright issues. Plus, if your channel is selected by either the algorithm or the content owner, you'll earn a share of the revenue. Fascinating. I haven't heard of that yet. I remember a couple years ago doing simultaneous streams with Photo Joseph, on both of our channels. And we were like, this is silly. We should be able to both... like, we shouldn't have to have these 2 videos be totally separate. They should be considered the same video in YouTube and like split the revenue. And I think actually somebody from YouTube came into the chat for somehow. I don't remember why. So I wonder if they finally rolled that out. IDJMike, thanks for the super chat again. For anybody wondering, oh yeah, that was last week, right? I now see in HD. Cataract surgery sucked, but I'm healing up now. Good to hear it. That is good news. If you are doing sports outside, be careful about temperatures. Good point. How am I getting the video into the Mac SE30 in the set? That's my little fun hack where I got a shell of a Mac from a friend. There was nothing inside of it, like no monitor, no CRT, no guts. So it was just a shell, and I found a LCD monitor that was almost exactly the right size. You can see there's a little black bars on the top and bottom. That's actually just black cardboard that I put over to fill the gap, and it is a very thin HDMI monitor, basically. That is, I just like, actually, I think I had a little 3D print a little bracket to screw it in, right? But behind that, in the case, is a Blackmagic converter. One of, well, this is not the same, not actually the one, but it, you know, these little gray boxes. And on a couple of the models, you can load in LUTs into that converter. So there's SDI output from the gear here that goes into that converter. That converter has a LUT that turns it into black and white, blue and white to give it that tint. And that's what the HDMI monitor is displaying. But it's actually a full color HDMI monitor, so I could make it full color if I removed the LUT. But then it wouldn't have the effect. And that's because that's just routed into the video switcher. I can, of course, change what's on there. So I can, if I want to show you like the overhead shot from all the switchers, I can do that. And then I can zoom into the different switchers and, you know, show you around the table from up there. It's kind of fun. But I think it's cute having it be a copy of my main camera. So we'll put that back. I need shortcuts for this. Christian says, do you also have experience with hardware encoders? If so, which one is the best one to use? Oh, what I meant is, do you have experience with hardware streamers? If so, which is the best? I use the KiloView E1, but quality is not what I expected. Which one is the KiloView E1? Oh, just a little like... Well, that's E3. Is the E1 the... Is it like a... Is it an older one? These little things? Okay. I have not used this one in particular. It is... and then there's also the E3, which looks newer. I've used a couple of these, but I don't tend to use them for the main encoder for shows. I use them for like if I need to get video from one place to another. One of the other ones is the where does it go? This one. The Zoetech. It's weird little box. It is PoE, which is nice, so you don't have to have a separate power supply. Encoder and decoder. It's does SRT, RTMP, NDI, so it's a good little Swiss Army knife. I don't know if I would use it as like the main encoder for a stream. Right now I'm using the A10 Mini Extreme or A10 Mini SDI ISO for the encoder, which I also would not use outside on somebody else's network, but it works fine on my network where I have a good connection. But yeah, I haven't done much with those for like as the main encoder. David says, any interest in doing your show in anamorphic? I have never thought of doing that. No. How would that work? I don't even know how. Speaking of hardware encoders, because it wouldn't be 1920 by 1080, so I would need to use something else to actually encode the stream. That'd be really funny. Matt says, I have the AV cans and the quality is fair. Tail 2 is excellent. My use is in an office. I use the high-end Sony PTZ, and they're really nice. Best one is the Sony FR7. Basically, FX6 PTZ. Yeah, isn't that, like, really expensive? Sony FR7. Yes. That is, in fact, really expensive. It's a lot of SD cards. Why does it have so many SD cards? Huh. $14,000, sure. $13,000, yeah. David says, I'm watching the stream from my Samsung Smart 4K TV. My ThinkPad has an OLED touchscreen. The quality is much better on the ThinkPad than the Samsung. Whenever it's my TV. The the TVs often have their own image processing that they do in them. So like this one does too. And this is a Samsung frame. And they often have their own image processing them, which will like do unexpected things to the picture sometimes, like over sharpen or things like that. So check out the settings in the TV to see if it's doing that, and then maybe you can turn those off and it'll look closer to what it's supposed to look like. And like, I don't understand why people do that with TVs, because I thought the whole point was that like videos that you watch on TVs are usually very carefully designed for what the creator of the video wants it to look like, as opposed to like people filming with the smartphone, where who knows what exposure and framing it has, where probably some post-processing would make sense. Anyway, that's a whole rabbit hole to go down if you start watching TV review channels. Just warning. Only 11,500 used. It's a lot. Super Dell says, the Zoe Tech is nice. I use it to display my NVIDIA Shield on my Apple TV 4K and my Meta Quest using VLC. Cool. Super, super useful little routing video signals around box. It's kind of neat. IDJMike says, what is your absolute favorite switcher? That's a tough question. Let's see. What have we got over here, first of all? So we've got... I picked these 6 for this lab, first of all, because I feel like they are a pretty good mix of different capabilities and different range of products. So and I just realized I can switch those so you can see my face there. Look at that. Wow, I mean, they all do such different things, right? So the RØDECaster Video is very quickly becoming my favorite for small studio stuff, like single operator or single small kit, like on a desk. Or I'm probably going to rebuild Lily's studio when we move her to the new office with the RØDECaster Video instead of the ATEM Mini Extreme, because her current setup with the Extreme requires a few more pieces to make it work, right? Like it requires a hyperdeck for video playback. It needs an audio interface in order to get an XLR mic in. So it's just like a lot of stuff, right? And then the RØDECaster Video is going to be a nice all-in-one kit. But yeah, so, and the layouts in the RØDECaster Video, super, super good, super useful feature. Actually I have that app up here too. So like this scene builder for it. This is where you can go and create like the side-by-side layouts. You can, oh, wow, this is a mess. There's nothing in camera for, which is why that's looking like that. You know, I only have 2 cameras connected right now into this, but you can like drag these around. It's really easy to create these in the app. And then these are all like saved, like presets. So very different way of working compared to the ATEM model. A lot of these switchers follow the ATEM model. So a lot of them are, a lot of the products looked at the ATEM and said like, let's try to directly fix some of the gaps in the ATEM family. So the like the OSEE really, like, I feel like that was their approach, right? They said like the ATEM Mini is a good switcher, but there's these gaps. Let's fix this and make it work. Make it be a better ATEM, right? And then there's a lot of the other Chinese brands like RGB Link and Sprolink and what are these some of the other ones? A lot of them do the same thing, right? And they try to make it work like the ATEM with some of the additional features. So Rode went totally different approach and really like rethought how that kind of switcher should work, even though it looks like it's the same form factor. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have the touchscreen devices like the Magewell Director One, Director Mini, and the YoloBox, which I would say are, I wouldn't do a show in a studio with those as the main switcher, probably. I would rather use the RØDECaster Video, but I wouldn't use the RØDECaster Video for a portable or like on the go kit. So that's when the Magewell. So I don't know. They're all just like, there's very different uses for them, and it's very hard to pick a favorite. But that said, this stream that I'm streaming on right now is the ATEM Constellation 4K because it has so many inputs. So maybe that's my favorite one. I don't know. I'm ignoring Australia today. What's going on? Put a Q in front of your question, otherwise it's going to get lost in the chat. I don't see your question in the questions column. Do I have a temperature gun? What's the heat of each unit? I do have a little thing for, is it here? Is it in this drawer? Where did it go? Or is it in that drawer? Might be. I do have a little thing for my phone that can measure. Oh my god. This feels too light for it to be in here. Oh, it is. It's just very small. I do have a way to check out the temperature of them. Let's see if we can do this. Oh, I think I have to take off my phone case. That's... Did I get an extender? I think I got an extender. Yeah, I did. Okay. What's the best way to do this? I'm going to share my phone screen, I think, to the Apple TV. And then... Yes. Okay, cool. Does it work in landscape mode? Not really. So, okay, so we're going to do... I guess we're just going to go full screen to this. So this is the infrared. You can see how hot that hybrid deck gets. What is the hottest? Oh, that's the little PBX machine. Okay, so let's go take a look at... Oh yeah, my sound is... I don't have good audio for the for back here yet, so let's see. GoStream is... Oh, the little distributors are pretty hot. The GoStream is pretty hot. RØDECaster Video is putting a lot of heat out towards the bottom. ATEM is the coolest. Yellowbox, very hot, and the Sprolink is off, so that doesn't count. PTZ Camera, it's kind of hot. RØDECaster Video is up there, but interestingly not on the top part of it. And then there's some little hot bit of the OSEE in that corner. Ooh, the HDMI cables. Okay, the ATEM has good ventilation because all the heat is coming out of there. That's fun. IDJMike says, let me revamp the question. What's your favorite one to use? You love its features. Okay. I mean, probably the RØDECaster video. I think it's really well done. It's just really well thought out. That or the Director Mini. But again, they have different uses. So, yeah. Kathy says, Aaron, new sub here, but I found your channel and you showed how to create a circle overlay using the A10 Mini Pro, and I want to say thanks. Well, thanks. Thanks for joining. Thanks you could join live. Matt says, I worry about how hot my Yellowbox Ultra gets, and I've heard the Extreme is worse. That looked very hot. Didn't think you had the 4K for me. I thought you had the regular for me. Oh, sorry. Did I say 4K? I meant regular for me. I don't have a 4K. Yeah. Did an A instead of a Q? Well, now it's lost. Where is it? Scroll. There it is. Perplexed by the Director One having 4G, 5G is a thing in Australia. I guess it's not possible for a firmware update to make it 5G. No, it would not be possible in a firmware update. That's going to be different hardware. Totally different frequencies and antennas and stuff. Yeah, I am surprised that they didn't do 5G for that. It seems like the Director One is because they didn't really add features to it. They just added like the HDMI port and the antennas. Was there one other thing? That might be it. It really feels more like it's replacing the Director Mini, I guess, right, as opposed to being like a new thing. So it doesn't feel like a big change, a big jump in hardware. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're working on something that is more of a change of like a new version. I don't know anything, but I wouldn't be surprised because that didn't feel like next generation, of the Magewell products. That felt like hey, we made a couple of tweaks to this because people didn't like how small the screen was or whatever. Yeah. Michael says, my Magewell encoder is pretty bad at H264, but it does great at H265, even taking bit requirements into account. It's amazing how much hardware encoders vary in quality. Yeah, I mean, makes sense, I guess. It's all complicated math. The Yellowbox is a beast beside the Director Mini. It's not even the Director Mini. It's the Director One, which is significantly bigger than the Director Mini. Oh, Koala, I missed your super chat earlier. Thank you. Have you tried using the Zoeybox as a multi-USB webcam input like their pick in their Amazon page? What? No, I have not. What? I haven't even seen that. We can try that because I've got it here. I want to find this picture in their Amazon page. Oops. Multi-webcam. Multiple UVC cameras are connected through a hub. It can serve as a switcher, allowing for seamless switching between multiple cameras. I had no idea. Should we try that? That sounds interesting. What did I do with it? And I should have PoE on the desk here, so let's try it. I think these purple ones are PoE. Yeah. And then we need to feed it in to, where's the end of that cable? There it is. HDMI out. And then I need some USB cameras. Where am I going to find those? And a hub. And they need to be USB-A. I don't know if I trust that one. And what do I have for USB cameras? I've got this camera looks like it's out of focus. What is it focusing on? Is it focused? Let's get it to focus on this. That's better. So I have this camera, and then I have a Pocket 3 around here somewhere. Let me go grab that. Okay. Razer Baby says, I agree my Director One was not enough for me to update my Director Mini 4. Yeah, it didn't feel like an update to me. It really felt like, incremental. Okay. Where was I? I was trying to get... Oh, yeah, the Zoeybox is booted up. So let's get the web interface pulled up. Oops, that is not the right network. I must have been testing 10.1. Let's see if it works. Probably not. I think that's my other... I'm going to have to guess to see if another port works. Okay. Okay, USB hub. And then we're going to grab that cord. And I have another one around here somewhere. I think. Maybe back here. This will work. Okay. Let's see if this gets the right IP address. Come on. Well, it's taking a while. Guess I'll plug these in the meantime. So somebody mentioned this camera on a stream the other day, and I was like too curious, and I had to get it. It's like a clear GoPro competitor and very cheap compared to a GoPro, and probably unsurprisingly works better than a GoPro for using as a webcam. It's not like the best quality in the world for sure, but it does work as a webcam. So we're going to try that. As one, there's USB camera. And then the other one is going to be this. Why is the Zoeybox not getting an IPS? Oh, there it goes. 10.45.214. Okay. And what's the password? Admin. Very safe. And then we're going to plug in this one as a second. Yeah, I agree. One of the great features of the Zoeybox is that it shows its IP address on the screen. Everybody should do that. Okay, now I got two cameras plugged into it. So let's go into the settings, decoding UVC, and it did find both of them. Interesting, they're both 720. Invalid UVC parameters. What does that mean? Never seen that before. It recognized it's going through a hub. What happens if I plug it in directly? Pocket 3. That worked. Interesting. So something about it doesn't like the something about it doesn't like the hub. Pocket 3 USB on 30 frames a second, 1080. Oops. It just rebooted. Crashed. That's not good. Huh. Razer Baby says it doesn't like hubs, but that was the whole thing that it said. That's what we were testing. If connected through a USB hub, or okay, is this a typo or is this significant? A UVC hub. I mean, it has a picture of a USB hub, but it something happened with it. Okay, Pocket 3 USB. Oh, it just crashed again. Doesn't like that. And this is plugged in directly. It's just plugged in directly to the Pocket 3, and it just is crashing every time I turn it on. Let's see if it has a problem with the Pocket 3 specifically. Plug that one back in. Turn it into a webcam. Go back to here. Yep. Log in again. This is a glowing review for this device. Okay, it found 1080. It's not crashing. Are we getting a picture from it? Not in the preview. Let's see if it's coming out of the HDMI. That would be this one. Nope. I don't know. Those don't look like they should be red. Huh. Well, not working for me. I'm gonna give up on that. I've never used it for USB webcams before. I've only used it for like NDI and SRT and stuff. That's why I bought it. Thought I was just not understanding, but no. Yeah. Weird. I do like that they can be powered by PoE. CSC Global says, great show. Makes you realize that these switchers have a good shelf life. Not many major changes of hardware for a few years. Shelf life. Yes. On the shelf. It's true. Some of these are a couple years old now. I mean, the ATEM Mini especially is several years old. And he says there's something called a Yeelink UVC hub for $170. Never heard of that. Gwen says I had issues with Pocket 3 and Zoeybox when I tried last year, so I returned it and got LinkP instead. LinkP works with the Pocket 3. Huh, okay. Well, oh well. I also don't really know why you would want to use that with a USB webcam. I do like using the Pocket 3 with the Director Mini though. I would write to Zoetech. They're pretty responsive. I've never actually talked with them. I should do that. You're right. Omer says, what's your opinion about Meld Studio? I like the vertical and horizontal layout, managing and streaming at the same time. I've never heard of Meld Studio. What is Meld Studio? It says it's an alternative to OBS. Never heard of it. Horizontal and vertical. I mean, cool. Built from the ground up. Is it really free? Huh. Maybe I will have to try it. Alex just did a video on Meld. I haven't seen it. Cool. Seems not fully featured enough for this audience, but probably good for folks who are less experienced. Michael says this is a hardware switcher only zone. Yeah, I can't put Meld Studio up on that shelf, so no go. Giovanni says several months ago I asked Rode if they would include an auto switching feature not based on video follows audio, but using prescribed times for camera switch. They asked, why would you want that? I replied with a use case and never heard back. Well, it could just mean that they're working on it. They're probably not going to tell you if they are working on it. They don't like to promise things before they're out. So I can see use cases of that for sure. Senpai has been talking at Meld. Huh. I'll have to go look at what he's been saying about it too. What do you usually display on the Elgato teleprompter? It actually isn't hooked up right now. I had it set up on the camera that's on the pole that points at the gray wall. And I was using it as a teleprompter for recording some videos that I need the gray background for. And I have it pretty easy to, I flip, oh, I can show you on the PTZ camera, this one. So if you look at ignore the giant mess, but look at that pole. So that camera points at the gray wall, and I can shoot stuff with like a generic background this way. And I have to flip this light around and flip it around to point at the wall, and that's the main light for that set. And it works pretty well. And I have a microphone up there too. So I'll put the teleprompter on that camera, have my computer next to it, and then I use it as a teleprompter for scripts and stuff. Emmanuel says, my only issue with these mixers is that they don't have enough aux outs for those of us that do live streaming for clients that require several different outs sent to different places. I hope that changes. I agree. I mean, the rack ATEMs and like the bigger ATEMs definitely have enough aux outputs because that's exactly what it's for. But I agree, most of the smaller ones don't have enough. They did put 3 outputs on the GoStream 8. So if you look at the GoStream Duet 8, this is getting really close to that. So it has, where's the back of it? This is the downside of all the switchers being up on the shelf. It has, here are the outputs. So it's actually 2 HDMIs and 1 SDI output. And if you look at the software for it, where's the IO outputs? So, oh, is this? I thought there were 3 separate, I thought they were labeled separately for 3 of them. But this is showing me just 2 video outs and then USB out. I think this software, I think something slightly mismatched with the versions again, because I thought they were labeled 1, 2, and 3. Can you put yourself plus the prompter script on the Elgato simultaneously? No. So in teleprompter mode, it is not an extended display. So it's USB, plugs into USB, and It plugs into USB, not HDMI. So in order to use it as a monitor for your computer, you have to install the DisplayLink software, and then your computer sees it as a second screen. Or you can have it work with the Elgato software on the computer, and the software just takes over the screen. So their software outputs like the script only, not no HDMI input. So if you had it as a computer monitor, you can use whatever teleprompter software you want, like on part of the screen, and then, you know, drag a video window up there. But it's not an HDMI monitor, so that's like the big limit with it. I need a larger studio. I have so many toys that could utilize at least 800 square feet. It's true. This is 20 by 12. What is that? 240 square feet. It's very cramped in here. My hope. So I did not get a room in the new house for any of this stuff. The office is turning into Lily's office, and but I'm going to build a shed next to this, which is almost a shed. And the shed is going to be for, not for video stuff. It's going to be for like shop things. So like the printers and laser cutter. And I'm going to like do proper ventilation with it so I can vent the lasers outside through a wall. What that means, though, is that some of this stuff can get moved over there. I might even consider moving my main working desk over there, which is most of what's on that back wall. We'll see. That's going to be smaller than this, though. It's going to be like 8 feet wide, 8 feet by, I think, 16. So it's like an even smaller room than this, but I think it'll help a lot. And that'll be the second space. So if I can move all of the printers and stuff out of here, that'll help. And then possibly also like my actual main work desk for meetings and stuff. Because then this can turn back into only video gear. Do you think I'll do another studio tour soon, showing the changes since the 2024? What state was it in 2024? I haven't done a video in a while. Just haven't had no time to do anything except streams. When was the last studio tour? Did Lily's studio tour? Wow, has it really been this long? That one. What state was this in? This was, the rack was on the back wall. Oh, right. Okay. So I had the desk. This was right before I took it apart. I think that's why I did this tour. So I had the streaming desk up there, and then I had the rack in the back. So it was in the shot. That's right. And the separate side table. Right. And then oh my gosh, everything has changed. Except that it's still a mess. This actually did work pretty well. Don't forget to run camera wires to there. Yes, I will do. I will do lots of wires. Lots of wires for sure. Where were we? Dan's Planning says Elgato Prompter can be used as a screen and put the text over it. Oh, no way. You can reduce the opacity of the text and see what's on the screen behind the text. Oh, I didn't realize it let you do both at the same time. I wonder why I never noticed that. Huh. Do the aux, HDMI, and SDI outputs on the Duet work simultaneously? I think so. So the one problem with this right now is that I don't have a way to get audio into the stream when I'm standing up there actually messing with the devices. I hope to fix that soon. So maybe next week I'll be able to actually go up there and mess with them. And now that you asked that question, this is a good example of something I need to have a good way to test. So I've routed the outputs of each of the switchers into this A10 Mini Extreme. This is the multi-view of the A10 Mini Extreme that's up on top of that shelf. So the 6 switchers have one of their HDMI outputs routed into the A10 Mini Extreme here, so that I can do things like we can go pop over to the RØDECaster, and now the RØDECaster is you're seeing the multi-view of the RØDECaster itself, and I can do like this layout showing the RØDECaster close-up, the software, the output, and me. But some of these have, we can go and do the same thing with the GoStream. We can do the same thing with the Magewell or the A10 Mini. A lot of these have more than one output, right? So I think what I'm going to need to do is put a monitor on the shelf up there, which is just like free floating somewhere, so that I can plug in SDI and HDMI into that monitor to see what it does. So, because yeah, for the GoStream, I want to see the SDI out, which I need to physically plug in a cable that is not connected right now. So I'm pretty sure I have a spare monitor, 7 or 10 inch, with both HDMI and SDI that I can put up there. So we'll do that. We'll try that. And then I'm also going to fix my Duet software to update, because something is clearly mismatched with the versions. Does the Duet 8 separate the streaming, recording, and USB out? Oh yeah, that was the big limit with the other one. Streaming and recording, yes. Streaming, recording, and USB. So, yeah, I have to actually physically look at the menu on the GoStream to find out. Let's see. If we go back. If we go back here, let's see if I can reach it. There's the menu. Menu. Oh man, that's small. We're gonna go to that. There we go. Let's see if at least the settings on here. Outputs. Video source. Out 1, out 2, USB out. Oh, so there is. So apparently one of the HDMI and SDIs are tied together. So, okay, so output, USB output I can set to be one of the inputs. HDMI, SDI. What is recorded? That's the question. Let's see, record. File name, ISO. Well, at least it does do ISOs. Oh, and you can enable or disable individual channels. I assume it's always going to record the program, right? That would make sense. So if it's always recording the program, then we now can set the USB out separately, which was not true before in the Mini one. So, so it looks like USB out can be inputs and program, not multi-view or preview. USB out, correct. USB output can be program or inputs, not multi-view, which is interesting because I thought that you could set it to multi-view on the other GoStream. Oh yeah, and I see. The HDMI that I plug this into is a dedicated multi-view, always multi-view. That's why there's no setting for it. So this one's, one of these is HDMI, one of these is SDI, and then there is no setting for the cable that's plugged into this right now, because you're seeing the multi-view, so obviously we're getting multi-view out of it. So that output is always multi-view. Sounds like a job for the video hub. It is actually, the video hub is in use in the main rack. But I just want to monitor to see what's on the ports. Cool. Okay. What's going on in the chat? Bulls promo. On the weekend, I stopped live stream after 2 hours, selected the next scheduled, but it added to the previous one. I missed that I did that. I even watched your YouTube video on scheduling. Weird. What? So when you say stopped your live stream, did you actually click the end stream button on YouTube? Because if you click the end stream button on YouTube, there should be no way to modify that video ever again. If you don't click end stream and auto off is not turned on, which is, I never turn it on. So auto stop. If auto stop is not turned on, then if you don't click the end stream button, you can keep streaming to this event. So that's probably what happened. I'm guessing if you like just cut the video feed to YouTube and then thought you were going into the like next event, that one is not actually done. So if you push video to that stream key that's selected in that event, it'll keep going. Yeah, I'm also not sure what you mean by, you said you selected the next scheduled. I'm curious what you mean by that. David says, I'm interested in buying a broadcast HD van, either to get the most out of it and intend to use it not only remotely, but while it's parked outside my house, or keep streams separate, keep the office. Whoa. I don't know anything about buying broadcast vans. Also, it sounds, I'm curious what you would use it that would make sense to work, to do stuff at your house, but also out. Because I feel like those are very different things. Because like, for if you're like using it for, you know, shooting stuff out in the world, you're not going to have a bunch of cameras inside the van shooting stuff in the van. So sounds like fun though. Mother Skunk says, when I go live with a Cine Treek, basically a GoStream, it doesn't connect to my new scheduled stream. It starts a new one. Do you know what's happening here and how I can prevent this in the future? So yeah, I do recommend watching the video I did about YouTube Live Studio. I went through, it's still mostly accurate. I know it's like kind of old now, but where is it? Oh my God, there it is. 2 years ago. There's only a couple of changes. YouTube Live Studio overview. So I'll drop that link in the chat. There are a couple of changes, but it's all still mostly accurate. I'm guessing what's happening is that you have a, I can show you here. If you go to the stream section, there is this is up here. This is not obvious. Up here, there's a stream, and then there's schedule. If you go to stream, there's a stream key selected here. If you have a stream key selected here in this stream section, notice how there's no auto on and auto off settings. If you ever push video to this stream key, it will create a new video on your channel, and it will go live immediately with whatever settings are here. So I actually have, I have this set to the title, members only surprise live stream. Visibility should have been members only. I don't know why it was set to unlisted. I think I actually may have just been testing something. So with this setup here, I could now, for example, out of nowhere, just like, you know, hit go on an encoder to this with a stream key, and it'll make a new video. And if I stop after a few seconds, whatever the delay is, I don't remember exactly, then it'll stop that video. And if you start streaming again, it'll make a new video. So that's probably what's happening. So go to the stream section and just make sure that this stream key that's selected is not one that you're ever going to use. And then go to, that's why I call this one live now, right? So then when I go to create a scheduled stream, I can create a new stream here, and then in the let me just go grab this one. Then choose a different stream key. So here I've got, if I I just make a different stream key for that, and that way you don't have that conflict. That's probably what's happening. Doug probably has some videos about broadcast vans and home studio. Good point. People on Discord have suggested to get a trailer rather than a van. You're not totally hosed when the engine breaks down. That's a good point. Trailers are much harder to navigate and park in cities. That is also true. Do I not like Apple Watches? No, I don't. I have had a smartwatch since like the beginning of smartwatches. I originally had like one of those Casio watches that could hold like 20 phone numbers in it and had the little calculator buttons. Anyway, that was before they were called smartwatches. But I've had like a Pebble, Fitbit, Jawbone, little Jawbone bracelet thing. And all of those had fantastic battery life. Like my standard for these watches is essentially 10-day battery life. I want to be able to not think about it for a week and just charge it like once a week. And the Apple Watch is not like that apparently. And until the Apple Watch gets a 7 to 10 day battery life, I will not buy one. So, yep, that's the deal. You still have a Pebble. Oh, wow. They just bought back their IP. So they got sold to Fitbit bought them, and then Google bought Fitbit. So the Pebble team has been at Google, and they just bought back their IP from Google and are going to be relaunching Pebble. So that's super exciting. I'm really excited about that. If you do a trailer, make sure it has AC. Just did a shoot in a van in Memphis last weekend, and AC was wonderful. Also a good tip. If I didn't need the shed to be bike parking, I could, instead of building a shed, I could build a bike trailer and put it there. But I need it to be bike parking, so it needs to be an actual building. And there's no room left on this lot once I put the shed there. Bowles from us says I had 4 scheduled events. First one was perfect. Hit stop on the Director Mini. Okay, selected the second. Oh, on the Director Mini. All good. After lunch break, selected third, and then add to the second, and to make it worse, fourth tacked onto the second as well. So, did you create the streams in the Director Mini? So normally I don't actually do it this way, and I just use stream keys. So I haven't actually done too much with that. Let's see. Oh, right, it uses that. I kind of want to see what this does. Oh, if anybody can now type in that code, and I'll log into your YouTube account. Let me do this without showing you the screen. We're going to log in. We're going to log into my YouTube account. Okay. There we go. Post 2. So if I create a new stream, I'm curious what this is going to do with stream keys. That's why I'm testing this. So let's do that. And then let's make a new stream called stream 2, and then save that. Okay, now let's see what it did on YouTube. It didn't post them. Is it not going to post them until I... So how did you do it? Because it's probably not going to post it until I click go live now. But if you schedule them ahead of time, they should show up in this list, right? So if I have multiple events created in YouTube, then yeah, I would do this on YouTube first. So we can schedule a stream. We can create a new, stream 1. We can go and where's my make it private so we don't confuse everything. Here's stream 1. Here's what I'm guessing happened. So I can create stream 1. Now I'm going to go make a new one, and we're going to call it stream 2. And blah, 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 blah. Make it private. And then these should show up in this list. Let's double check that is true. Refresh. Okay, stream 1, stream 2. So now I can, in the Director Mini, I can select which one to stream to, right? But here's the problem. These events both share the same stream key right now. So this is using the default stream key, and stream 2 is also using the default stream key, which means unless you actually press end on stream 1, if you keep streaming, it's going to keep going to stream 1. And I would not trust that pressing stop on the Director Mini or any encoder is going to actually do what needs to happen on YouTube, on the YouTube side. So 2 things. Always pull up your YouTube Studio in a computer so that you know what's going on YouTube, even though it lies to you a lot. Like, don't ever trust the preview here. Always pull this up and use this to start and stop. But secondly, if you're gonna queue up a bunch of streams in a row, create different stream keys for them. So go here and actually create a new stream key and call this one stream 1. Oops, this was stream 2. I'll make a new stream key for stream 2. Stream 2. So the second event is set to the second stream key, and then I can go back to stream 1 and I can change this to stream 1. Because now if I'll probably have to refresh this to make this work. But now if I'm streaming if I change the Director Menu to stream here, it's going to be using a different stream key now. So now it should never try to append video to the old stream. So I'm guessing that's what happened. Hopefully that made sense. That was a long segment. When I hit stop, I get a screen asking for preview, and something else I hit preview. Huh, I don't know what that is. Let's try it. Let's actually try it. We'll go to stream 1. It's set to private, so there's no harm in doing that. Connect. Title. What? Post to stream 1. Yeah. Why is it asking for a title? It has a title on YouTube. That's weird. What is this? Oh, it's that. Well, I guess we'll just see what happens. Auto start is not enabled. Okay, go live now, only preview or go live. So if you click, what did you say? You said when you hit stop, you get a screen. Okay, so if you click only preview, I'm guessing what internally it's going to do is just start pushing to the stream key. But on YouTube side, what's happening is that like auto start is not checked. So if you start pushing to this stream key, YouTube won't actually start the video until you press go live in YouTube Studio. So if you do this, theoretically what happens is the Director Mini starts pushing video and will press that button for you. So let's do that. And let's see what's happening. Okay, so it's streaming to YouTube. This should now say it's live. Yes, there we go. So it is live. It's actually live. It's a private video, so it didn't just blast out a notification to everybody. And the end stream button is up here so that, you know, I can tell it's actually live. But now let's go ahead and press disconnect. Stop streaming. Auto stop is not enabled. End live now. Pause or end. So again, if you click pause, what's going to happen is it's only going to stop pushing video to that stream key, but it's not going to press the end stream button for you. If you click end, it should stop streaming and press that button for you. So if I hit pause, this is going to stop. Well, I don't know how long it takes. This is usually behind by a lot. Yeah, see. So it's going to just run out of video. Yeah, now it says no data. Eventually that preview is going to freeze. But this event isn't over. So like your viewers will still see that there is a live video on your channel. If people click into it, it'll start playing back from the last like 10 seconds or whatever. And importantly, if you ever start streaming video to this stream key again, it's going to keep appending to this video. So until you click end stream. So if you have two videos with the same, if you have two scheduled streams with the same stream key, then you're always going to be pushing to the one that is currently like not ended, because it's not live because there's no video there, but it's not ended until you actually click end. So if you did click the button, the option in here that was end, this is going to actually click that button for you, and then we should see that, yeah, stream finished. So that, I'm guessing that's what happened to you. This interface is way newer than my Magewell. Interesting. That's the Magewell Director One interface, but it was mostly the same on the Mini. Forget the van, build a video bike cart instead. Yeah. Actually, what I do want to do is get rid of that other table in here, and then make this video cart that I have in here. It's sitting behind. Oh, you can't even see it. It's sitting behind this monitor. I want to get rid of that table and make it so that the video cart just like lives in here as like a desk, instead of randomly in the middle of the floor, and then I can roll it out. If you create a mobile van, put the AV gear in portable roll-around carts, then you can do roll out the AV gear when you need to move indoors. Just use lockdowns to hold the roll-around carts to the floor. That's a good idea. My Magewell AIO doesn't know what my auto start or stop settings are. Just used it yesterday. Oh, well, this is the Magewell Director Mini interface, not the encoder. That's why. But what do I do with all that stuff? I need to figure out a solution for this stuff, because that table is full of stuff that I need to make videos about, and I have not had time to make videos. Best I can do is live streams, and that's probably just how it's going to be for the rest of the year, frankly. I honestly don't see that changing significantly. Yeah. I did just get some time back this week, though, because I'm not going to Madrid this week for the event that I normally travel for. But that time just got filled up with other things instead. So I have, for example, tomorrow, I'm taking the day off of work mostly, but I am going to be doing a bunch of wiring, but also the low voltage guys coming back to finish like all the network plates around the houses. I'm doing the guts of the rack for our unit, But yeah, I started that project last weekend and then haven't had any time during the week to work on it. Surprise, surprise. But I am very pleased with how it's been going. This is my progress update. I have the rack is on wheels and it will push all the way back in there. So these cables are actually like, there's like 5 feet of cables that you can't see with 4 feet. So this is like in its fully pulled out form. So I got 8 done. Most of the work last week was wrangling these cables, getting them cleaned, unwrapped, vacuuming this space for all the drywall dust, and then making a plan for what goes, where they go in the rack and things. So I'm trying to do this neatly because I know once I do this, I'm never redoing it. And yeah. I originally had the 2 switches in here, but it turns out it's way harder to run the wires when there's switches in the way. I fed them all through this brush plate before I started wiring, so at least it's a little bit cleaned up on the wall, which is nice. And then yesterday I did the other part of that room, which is the audio cabling. So I have these 5 wires for microphones, which I connected to these little XLR jacks. I use twist connectors, which is a little bit weird, but it's because I started trying to solder down in this room and it was just not happening. It's like, 3-foot ceiling. So very cramped in there and it was not working. So I soldered all the little pigtails to this at the desk here. And then in there, all I had to do was twist them together. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, I have a different kind of connector I can use. But then those are all now connected into there, into this nice little plate, which then is nice and tidy. And the reason I did that was because these wires were not as long as this big fat wad of wires, so I couldn't pull the rack out. If I put all these XLRs in the rack itself, I wouldn't be able to pull the rack out as far. So I'm going to just plug in XLR cables and connect them to the rack that way. I think you overfed your brush plate. Yeah, a little bit. It was, I don't have much of a choice anymore. They, that was the plate they put in, like they put the 2 gang box in there when they started doing the wiring, and they just fed all the wires through that. So that's how it goes. Wago connectors? How are the cats? What happened to the cat cam? The cat cam, I guess it's still up there. I don't have, let's see, where are they? They are not on camera. I have no idea where they are. Probably up on the bed. No cats today. But I can show you a picture of them from yesterday. Being silly. She was just sitting like that for like 5 minutes with her little feet. Don't know why. Cool. Okay. I think we should wrap this up, and I need to go hang a rack on the wall in the other network closet before the low voltage guy gets here tomorrow, because then he can wire things up into that. Yeah, so that's my project for the rest of the day. Hopefully not the rest of the day. It shouldn't take that long. I just have a couple of bolts to put up. Oh, and then I'm going to do this. This is the other end of the audio. So I have these plates, blanks that I drilled a hole through so that this microphone can mount in it, and XLR on that side. And I got XLR2 screw terminal cables for this end because I don't want to be soldering things up on the ceiling. So I can plug in XLR. I get 3 screw terminals, which will connect that end to. And I'm going to go put these up everywhere. So that'll be the other part of today. Also, looking forward to the slightly cooler weather. It is, it's been extremely warm here, but today it looks like it's mostly overcast. And that's good because working outside in the sun is not my favorite thing to do. So yeah, okay, let's wrap this up. Next week, hopefully I should have a way to get my goal is permanent audio situation for when I'm up there with a lav mic, or maybe I'll hardwire a mic, but I think I'm just going to do a lav mic so I can move around. But I don't want to just use like one of these because I want it to be more permanent. And then we can play around with those some more. Yeah. Power update. Did I get the permit? Yes. Thank goodness. On Thursday, they issued the permit for the solar panels. So we are scheduled to get the panels installed this week coming up. And then I can finally call the power company and tell them to connect permanent power. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Speaking of power, once I start working on that shed, it's going to get way overbuilt. I'm going to probably run 100 amp sub panel to it and pull a lot of power to various parts of that place for the office. Because if I want to run like a laser or a power tools and things like a drill press or something, I'm going to need more than just little outlets around. So also radio gear. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Going to overbuild it. Thanks for explaining stream keys. Next thing to learn. Yes, definitely. It's a weird little bit of YouTube corner. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being a channel member. Thanks to the Extreme supporters, Tom, Larry, Andre, Kevin, and Marcin. And thanks to all the other channel members for your support. If you are a member, make sure you click on the link below to the members-only Discord, where you'll find out about behind-the-scenes videos as they happen, and photos and progress updates on the house throughout the week. And yesterday I did a members-only stream, for example, setting up all the presets for the stream deck for that rack of gear up there. And yeah, thanks again. Thanks for the super chats today. Oh, who is our top fan of the show? Our top fan is IDJMike with 600 XP, Koala with 275, and Razer Baby with 150, and Nils with 150, and Bowles with 150. Everybody has 150. No idea how the points work. No idea. Yeah. All right. See you again next week. Bye.